Hello, how are you all? I hope you're doing well. I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's been happening in Miami, but it's pretty crazy. So, Miami recently has just been flooded with people. It's spring break month, it's college spring break month. So, tons and tons of people have flocked to Miami, South Beach in particular. And apparently, the crowds have been incredibly large, just out of control. The city of Miami has enacted a curfew that goes until April 12th. It's from 8 p.m. every night until 6 a.m. You're not supposed to be out. They've had to call on the riot police. They've deployed tear gas. They've deployed pepper balls. People have been arrested. There were like over 1,000 arrests. Officers have been injured. It is completely out of control. Apparently, people are twerking in the middle of the streets. There's big like group brawls. People are walking out on their tabs. So I just want to show you a few things that talk about what is going on in Miami. While I was looking up stories, I think I saw one of the funniest headlines I've ever seen in my life. And here it is. This is Local 10. It's a local Miami news site. And the headline reads, "Wild night in Miami Beach. Women twerk on police car. 2 officers injured." Oh my gosh, we have an officer involved twerking incident. The officers were not injured from the twerking. I just want to clear that up. It's just really funny the way they put those words together. But let's read this story. When did this happen? Okay, this happened actually a few weeks ago. Okay, so this has been going on for a few weeks. It's been a little out of control for a few weeks now. So it says Miami Beach, Florida. It was a wild night Friday night in South Beach. There were even women who jumped on a police car to twerk. The city is swarming with spring breakers. Miami Beach officer Ernesto Rodriguez, a spokesperson for the department, said 2 officers were injured while dealing with a very large crowd near 8th Street and Ocean Drive. While taking a subject into custody, officers were forced to utilize pepper balls to disperse members of the crowd who were disorderly and surrounding officers. Rodriguez said several subjects have been detained, 2 officers were injured and have been transported to the hospital. More police officers are enforcing the rules in the area of Ocean Drive and Collins and Washington Avenues from 5th and 16th Street. Okay, all package liquor sales ceased after 8 p.m. in the area and after 10 p.m. in the rest of the city. On Thursday night, officers said some people in the crowd threw bottles at them on Collins Ave and 11th Street. Rodriguez said officers arrested 3 people during the mayhem. So that's what it's been like. So first, when this situation kind of started trending, when news started picking this up and when it started trending on the internet, everyone was saying that the reason that they were enforcing a curfew was because they were worried about all the people being out due to the virus and not social distancing and stuff like that. But the more and more video comes out, it seems the more and more it has more to do with the fact that this was so unruly. And there's a few local people that have also said that this has been a trend that's been happening since 2019. Every year it seems the crowd gets more and more and more unruly. So I think it's a little bit of that. I also think, because I did read that even from the years before, the arrests so far this year have doubled. So I think it's a little bit of that. It's also a little bit of, I mean, we've been on restrictions for a year now. People are pent up. They want to go out. They want to do stuff. They have pent up energy. And Florida is one of the only states that's open right now. So I'm sure even more people flock to Florida because there's really nowhere else to go. And it sort of causes this. At the very beginning of the pandemic, one of the things, I was living in Venice Beach, and one of the things that they did in Venice Beach is they put sand in our skate park. And I did not like that at all and they were worried that too many people were going there. So that was a way to deter people from going to the skate park, was filling it with sand. Mind you, it's obviously outside. But a few months into all these restrictions, A man went down to the skate park. He brought a bunch of kids with them, and they went and they dug out the sand to the skate park. And what he said, you know, the kids need to get out and play. They have to get their energy out. If you don't let the kids play, bad things are going to happen. And I think that's a little bit of what this is. I think it's that. I also think it's all of our anti-police rhetoric that's been happening for the past year. All the riot footage we've seen, we've sort of normalized riotous behavior. We've normalized being aggressive to the police and not respecting police. I actually saw the video that they were referencing in that article where the police officers were trying to make an arrest and they couldn't do it. The crowd was just screaming and yelling at them and like booing them, and it just became a huge mess. So in order to safely detain this person, they had to use other methods. I think they said in that situation it was a pepper ball, which a pepper ball, it's a ball I think you throw into the crowd and it sort of deploys like a tear gas type material or something like that, and it disperses the crowd. That's what a pepper ball is. On a serious note, though, whenever you have that many people that are drinking that much together and that are just letting loose like that, and it's just, you know, and that's always been what spring break is. And then, of course, like what I just said, add everything on top of that, and it's just a recipe for disaster. But spring break has always sort of been, you know, it can get a little scary. When I was in high school, I grew up in Georgia. We used to go to, I'm not proud of it, but we used to go to Panama City Beach for spring break, and my group of friends, we sort of, you know, we went and we had fun, but we stayed away from the main crowds. There's a documentary on Netflix. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. But Panama City Beach, like during spring break, there would be a lot of incidents of assaults and just things of that nature, especially in areas where you would see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids just gathered together on the beach. And, you know, when you're in the middle of these groups, when you're in those crowds and people are rowdy and they're drinking and they're just letting it all loose, like really bad things happen, and it's really sad and it's really unfortunate. And that's some of the video that I'm seeing coming out, and we're going to go through a little bit of it here together. There's some pretty disturbing stuff that's coming out of Miami. And yes, it's spring break, it's a part of that, but again, I also feel like at the extent the arrests are happening, at the extent of what is going on in the streets, some of this is normal spring break behavior, which is troublesome enough. But it's also, I think, really heightened this year, and I think it's because of what we were just talking about on here. But this story came out, and it's 2 spring breakers arrested for drugging a woman who later passed in a South Beach hotel. So these 2 men, basically the story is there is surveillance footage. That's how these 2 men were busted. And they see the girl coming back to her hotel with them. And in the footage, she's incredibly inebriated, almost can't hold herself up. One of the guys has to hold her up. They get back to her hotel room. We don't know exactly what happened, but she ended up being assaulted. Her credit cards and things were stolen, and they fled. They ended up charging a lot of the rest of their vacation on her credit card. She later passed in the room, but thankfully they have been arrested. But that's one of the things that's happened here, and I'm going to show you. So this Twitter thread went completely viral, and the name of the person, Mr. Commodity. So if you want to see this thread, go on Twitter, look it up. You'll see the name when I post these tweets. I pulled 3 of the tweets just to show you some of the other stuff that's going on South Beach, and these are all videos that were taken this weekend. There are some videos that circulated online that have been sort of not debunked, but they were like, this was a year ago or this was 2 years ago. So these videos are from this past weekend. And this is from a person that lives on South Beach, and he's kind of giving his account on what happens. This is a really long thread, so if you want to see the rest of it, and if you want to watch the videos, I just did screenshots, then go on Twitter and watch this. But I'll just show you some of what's going on in South Beach. So let me find a good first place to start. Okay, so this is the first one. And he says, the national media will tell you Miami Beach issued a state of emergency and shutdown because of the crowds, and some will lie and say it's because of the virus. That's only half the story. Here are some videos of what is going on. This happened twice at the same restaurant. So here you can see in this screenshot, you can't really see a whole lot, but basically it's a restaurant right off South Beach, I believe off Ocean Drive, and there is a huge group brawl. Tables are flipping over, chairs are flipping over. It is just a giant brawl that's happening. And this was on the thread right after that one, and he said, and here's the aftermath. Everyone walked out on their tabs totaling over $2,000 before tips. Remember, this happened 2 nights in a row. So this happened 2 nights in a row at this restaurant. And you can see, again, if you go on his Twitter, you'll see the full video. But you can see there's a table with drinks and stuff. When you watch the video, it pans over the restaurant, and it's just all empty tables, empty glasses, things knocked over, chairs knocked over. And from what this person says, the people left without paying their tabs. So there's that. And then here's another part of the thread. He says, walking out on the bill is so common during spring break that waiters are now having to chase down patrons and tackle them on the street. Oh yeah, and don't forget the women twerking and blocking traffic, which happens on every street corner. Okay, so I'm going to try to explain what's going on in this still. I watched the video again. If you want to watch him, go to his Twitter. It's a really long thread with lots of videos. But you can see, here's a waiter up front. You can see his apron. He's in all white, and he's running. He's actually chasing 2 men. No, he's chasing one man that walked out on his tab. And then I don't know if you can see in the background, but this is almost the perfect image of what is happening right now in Miami, because you see the waiter chasing this person that just walked out on their tab, when in the background, traffic is being stopped by women that are twerking in the middle of the street. Miami. That's what's going on there. Okay, and here's the last one. He says, the fights are constant. Every day and night, at least 2 or 3 involve shootings. Mind you, this is a 10 block by 3 block area. It's not that big. He keeps saying, but wait, there's more, because it's a long thread. But you can see in this still, there's a bunch of people street fighting right there in the middle of the street. And when you watch these videos, it's pretty crazy. It's like, it'll pan on the street, and you'll see about 5 or 6 separate brawls happening in one area. I've never seen anything like that. Maybe I'm sheltered, I have no idea. But that's what's going on in Miami. Again, it was really interesting because of what sort of the media narrative was when all of this started coming out. And I'll be interested to see what happens within the next few weeks. Because I think, yeah, April 12th is when the curfew ends, so we'll see how that works out for them. You know, again, I think it's the combination of, you know, spring stuff that happens on spring break has been an issue for a really, really long time. It's just an atmosphere where a lot of young people get together, they're letting loose, they don't care, they have no worries, and they're just drinking all day, every day. That's what you do. So that in and of itself, whether it's Panama City Beach, whether it's Miami, whether it's, you know, Cabo, whether it's somewhere in the Bahamas, it's always a recipe for disaster. But put on top of that restrictions because of the virus, put on top of that the normalization of all of these riots that we've seen all over the summer, put on top of that anti-police rhetoric, and you have a perfect storm for mayhem. But let me know your thoughts on everything. I'll be curious to know, and I'll be paying attention to this because I'm just curious how things go in Miami for the next few weeks. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you later. Bye.